Hello BookTube, it's Ben here from the History Fella channel. I hope the weather's good with everyone. Certainly we've got a sunny day here, which makes a change because we've had the past week that's been absolutely awful. We've had so much rain and wind, and there's floods now up in Scotland and Cumbria, and kind of we've been getting most of those rain clouds as well, but luckily I live on a bit of a hill, so don't have to worry about the flooding. Anyway, I thought I'd do a history tag today, or a book tag rather, sorry. I found this tag on the Bookish channel, certainly a channel I would recommend if you're not already following him. It's very good, and also the tag was created by Steve Donahue, who I'm sure most of you will probably know anyway, and most of you will probably be following anyway, but if not, go along and give him a follow as well. It's called the Books and LifeTag, so it's 10 questions I think, not 11, oh that's lucky. So here we go, first question. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a normal person and 10 being the late Harold Bloom, how much are books and reading a part of your life? Well, I would say, other than the wife and my 2 boys and sport and history, books is probably the next best thing I have. Certainly if it's non-fiction history, that's just what I love. That's my hobby, like others might be into cars or going to sports events and that sort of thing, or going down the pub for a drink. My hobby's most definitely reading history books. Right, number 2. Where does your personal library stand right now in relation to the rest of your life? Do you have more books now than you have, or than you ever have, or fewer? And how has your library changed? My library hasn't changed much because, as most of you will probably know, I'm only ever into non-fiction history, because I just can't get into fiction at all. I think it's something in my brain. It's always thinking, well, it's always looking for things that are wrong, or well, that wouldn't work. So when I'm reading a fiction book and what I think is a mistake, it just stands out completely, and that ruins the whole book for me. So that's probably why I don't read much fiction. Do you have more books than ever? Yes, I have more books, certainly over the past sort of 3 or 4 years, when I've got into creating a history website and watching more of it on TV. I've now started getting more and more books. If there's a birthday coming up or Christmas, I do tend to ask for books then as well. So it's kind of a constant, and I would say you'll probably get 2 or 3 parcels a week, which ranges from about anywhere from 1 book to 12, 13, 14 at a time. So I'm certainly into books. Number 3. Take a mental step back and ask yourself, what is the most likely first bookish impression a newcomer will have in your home? Well, usually most people will say to me when they come in the office for some reason, or the first thing they say is, in shock, they're kind of like, blimey, have you got enough books to read? Or what they tend to then ask is, have you read all these books? To which I'll say I've probably read 97-98% of them, if not half of the books I've read all the way through the books, so it's a lot of reading. Number 4, how often, if ever, do you clean or reorganise your books? Now I have a bit of OCD and I like everything in its right place. I like order, and obviously because the books are important to me, I like to make sure they're always neat and tidy and clean, and often you'll find that follows through into my reading. Most of the books that I own, you would think they were brand new, even though I've read them, because I just like to keep the books in nice condition. Don't fold the pages or write in them or anything like that. I like to keep every book as pristine as possible. Number 5, on average, how many books do you acquire in a given week? As I just said, I probably get about between certainly 1, and it depends on the publishers really as to how many books they've got coming out in that period. But I've had, I think one week I got sort of like 20-25 books sent, and then other weeks I might get 1 or 2. Which is actually a good thing, because the town I live in, there's only one bookshop and it's not that good. So my choice is either the not so good bookshop, or we've got a couple of charity shops which are a bit hit and miss. You can find the odd book in, but there's no real great range, unfortunately. And then the next town nearest to me is probably, or the one with a decent bookshop is probably about 30-40 miles away, so I don't often get round to doing much bookshop shopping. Number 6, this is a bit of an odd one. What song is your current earworm? I presume an earworm is when you can't get the tune out of your head and you're always either humming it or singing it or what have you. Current earworm. I'm not sure I've got a current earworm at the moment. If anything, it'll be 80s music or late 90s, early noughties rock or prog rock or punk rock. That's what I'm trying to think of. But yeah, I'm not much into music, so I don't really suffer from earworms or that. Number 7. What percentage of your self-control do you retain in a well-stocked bookshop? Well, obviously I have self-control. I'm not one of these that gets wildly giggly or giddy at visiting their local bookshop. But a bookshop is my favourite type of shop in the world. Whether it's new books or second-hand, I don't mind. But there's always, in my opinion, there's always something to discover, or new types of books you haven't heard of, or subjects and you haven't known that the books come out, or even when you go into a second-hand book, you come across these old authors and subjects. I just find it wonderful going into a bookshop and, if I've got the money, be able to buy sort of a handful of books. Number 8. Do you feel the need to take a break from books? If so, what form does it take? Do I need to take a break? Nope. I will happily read. I will happily do anything about books. That's that question answered. Number 9. When you meet a new person, how long does it take to bring up books? I probably don't. I don't really meet that many people on a regular basis anyway. But I tend to keep the books or my opinions of the books to myself anyway. Or I can put my opinions on here on YouTube or in my reviews on my website, so I can express my opinions that way. But no, I'm not one for going around spouting what I've learnt from this or that book or what I think and that sort of thing, because to be honest, I'm not really fussed what other people think. So I also then think, well, I'm not fussed in them learning about what I think about a book, if that makes sense, either. So books outside of the house don't really come up so much. Number 9. No, we've just done number 9. Number 10. Have you given any thoughts or made any provisions for your personal library after you croak? Well, the reason my personal library of books would be much bigger, but me and my wife, we tend to regularly move around because we rent, and I think actually this is the house we've lived in the longest. We've been here nearly 9 years, but before that, previously, it's the longest it's been 3 years, or even 6 months. So if you haven't, I've found when you're having to move around, you can't really have big boxes full of books than that, because it costs too much to get them moved around and that sort of thing. So I tend to, in the past, haven't bought so many books, or I've given them all away or sold some of them off or something like that. So when I croak, I'm happy for my wife to take the pick of them, and my 2 boys to pick out their favourites if they want. But other than that, they can take them along to the charity shop and do whatever. I won't be around to know anyway, so there you go. Are you known among your friends and loved ones for your weird and probably unhealthy relationship with books? Yes, I probably am, and then my wife's told her friends that I'm mostly into books. Everyone knows I like history. The rest of the family is kind of the same. They all know I'm the reader, or I like history books. And I think probably someone like my brother, who doesn't read very much at all, he thinks it's all a bit weird and probably a bit too highbrow for him. But then he's never really been into books, so that's probably why he would think that. But anyway, that's all of the questions. That's question 11 done. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this book tag, the books and life tag, why not do the book tag yourself and tag me in, and I'll come and have a look and see what your opinion is on the life of books in your life. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the book tag, give it a thumbs up, please. It all helps. And I shall see you next time, probably very soon, for another video. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.